Okay, so before we start, let's start with gratitude. I would like you to just take 30 seconds and think about what uh, one thing that was positive in your life in last 1 week, which you are thankful for, right? So think about that for a second. And then once you have identified that, try to take it one more step further and say why that was positive. So one positive thing and then why it was positive for you. Now, no cheating. We used to do this 10, 15 years ago with my kids. And one day they would say, I'm thankful for mom to make dinner, right? And we are like, that's great. But then they figured out that was the easiest way. So every day it started. I'm thankful for mom for making dinner, right? So we have to do that, right? You can only use one positive thing for a month. You can repeat that for 30 days. Okay. So, thank you for coming. We are starting a meditation session, and is we typically have a question on the YouTube channel. So if someone wants to go back and do the meditation again, they can do that. Uh, this is going to be a weekly session. So at a minimum, I would like that if you commit to 3 weeks, they say that uh, 21 days is what it takes to make a habit. So if you do it every day for 5, 10 minutes, whatever it takes, right? For 21 days, then hopefully it becomes a habit and you just start, you don't have to remind yourself, right? So 3 weeks, if you commit to yourself, I think it goes. And if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. It doesn't work for you, right? Not everything is for everyone. Um, but reason I started this, think about it. When we first talked about this about a week ago, right? The world's changed in a week. I mean, last Tuesday morning, we were all worried about COVID, right? Nobody wanted to go out. And now we got like tens of thousands of people downtown, every city in America, right? Think about that. So the world's changed. And world's going to keep changing, right? And there's stress, there's anxiety. When you look at amount of uh, disease we have, which internal disease, if you will, right? We have high blood pressure and cholesterol and this and that. And all of that uh, is internal disease, something one can control. So there's a classic cliche which says that happiness comes from within, right? Well, it's actually not a cliche. You know, we worry about things that happened in the past, right? Whatever happened yesterday, we worried about it. Somebody said something, my kid didn't do this, or my boss, said X, or whatever that happens to be. Or we are worried about things which may or may not happen in the future, right? We are worried about what may happen tomorrow, how my meeting is going to go tomorrow, and whatnot. And this is the cause of our problems, right? So as long as you have, in India we say roti kapda or makan, right? As long as you have food, shelter in place, right? The rest of the problems come from our mind, and our mind wanders million miles an hour, right? We are sitting here, and some of you probably are still at the office or India or wherever that may be for you, right? So it goes to places we'll probably never visit in our lifetime, right? Uh, somebody said it very nicely. It says your mind is like a balloon which is floating in the air uncontrollably, right? It just keeps floating wherever the next air comes from. So this entire exercise we are doing is trying to train our mind. That's what we are after. Okay. And meditation helps us tame our mind. I mean, it has shown to help physical as well as psychological well-being. uh, a simple breathing exercise can do amazing wonders for our physiology, right? It's known to bring your blood pressure down and stress down and whatnot. So that's what we are trying to do, hopefully every week. Uh, Before we begin the meditation, uh, for those of you, I think everyone on call probably knows this. I don't see any youngster here, but those of you who are young or Westerners, um, a quick introduction to deep breathing. A lot of people try to breathe shallow breathing, right? A lot of people breathe from here, right? I used to teach my kids how to take a deep breath, and they'll do, that's not a deep breath, right? So a deep breath comes from your diaphragm, right? So simplest way to learn is if you put your hand on your tummy, and if you take a deep breath, your tummy should expand. So, and when you exhale, you're trying to make sure that your stomach touches your spinal cord, right? That's a deep breath. So you're trying to, you know, always try to have your exhalation longer than your inhalation. So try to get, every last air out of your lungs. In fact, they are saying that those of us who are affected by COVID, the deep breathing exercises seriously helps people who are in initial stages of COVID. I mean, if you're on ventilator, obviously it's way past that, right? But the deep breathing exercises really helps with COVID, especially not going through your lungs. So again, uh, let's try one more time. Uh, let's put our hand on our stomach, take a deep inhalation. So when you inhale, your stomach expands. When you exhale, you deflate your stomach. That's pretty much what a deep breath looks like. So with that, let's go ahead and start. A few things about our posture. Meditation is not about sitting in a lotus posture. Most important thing in meditation is keeping our spinal cord straight, our back straight. That's the most important thing, right? So let's start in a position. You can be seated on a chair, or you can be seated on the ground, whatever that case may be. In my case, actually, I'm sitting in a bed because I have to keep one of my legs straight, as a lot of you know. So that doesn't really matter. But let's start and uh, see if you can be in a cross-seated position if possible. If not, you're fine. Make sure your back is straight. Gently close your eyes. Put your hands in your lap. Your right hand on top of your right palm on top of your left palm. And just gently touch your thumbs, please. A lot of people keep tension in their mouth. So if you keep your mouth just a little bit open, it releases the tension from your jaws. Just a slightly open. Make sure your hands are relaxed. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. When you're trying to relax your body, try to relax from top to bottom. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take one more deep breath, and this time, when you exhale, completely relax your body. Now, take a deep breath. As you exhale, forget about whatever happened prior to this moment. Take another deep breath. This time, when you exhale, forget about your task list, your calendar, your meetings. Take one more deep breath. Completely relax your mind and body. Now, just try to stay totally calm, not thinking about anything. Your mind is such that when you say, I don't want to think about something, it will think about just about a million things. So when a thought comes, just gently acknowledge the thought. Don't chase it. Don't try to force it out. Just gently acknowledge and it will go away by itself. If you try that and consistently, if you find yourself wandering, go back to focusing in your breath. Just focus on the sensation of your breath in your nostrils. When you inhale, you'll feel cool air coming in. When you exhale, you'll feel warm air going out. So if your mind starts to wander, just come back and focus on the breath for about 3 breaths, and it should settle down. If you feel like itching, that is part of your mind wandering. That's a trick your mind plays. So again, focus on your breath if that happens. If a thought arrives, just gently acknowledge it. Don't try to chase it. If you find yourself wandering, again, go back to your breath, sensation of your breath on your nostrils. If a thought arises, gently acknowledge your thought and it will go away by itself. If you find your mind is floating away, go back to sensation of your breath. last minute or so. If a thought comes, just gently acknowledge it. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. I'm going to unmute everyone. So if anyone has a question, I'm happy to answer it. All right. Since I don't see any questions here, if you have a question, raise your hand. Otherwise, I have a couple of online questions I would like to address. Okay. Go ahead, Sangeeta, and then Deepika Gandhi.
Neeraj, can we put some kind of music like flowing river sound or some soothing sound along with that or
So it's a very good question. When you put music on, your mind is focused on the music. Idea is to not have mind, uh, you know, go anywhere. Just pure stillness, if you will. So music takes it away from what you're trying to achieve.
okay. So no, we can. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Go ahead, Auntie. You had a question?
No, Riddhi was calling.
Oh, okay. Okay, no worries. All right. There was one question I received online, which was kind of interesting. It said that, and they had tried this before, obviously, that when they try to meditate, they are getting lot more thoughts than they would otherwise, right? Just like million thoughts comes in your head, right? Which is very common because your mind does what you don't want it to do, right? Uh, I give you a quick example. I'll give you $10 if you don't think about a monkey in 10 seconds, right? Every one of us thinks about monkey, right? And so your mind is trying to tell you that it's in charge of it. And the only way to quiet it down is to focus on that sensation of breath. Because even though we all keep saying that, we are expert at multitasking, science says that there is no such thing. Your mind can only focus on one thing at a time. So if you are focused on sensation of your breath, nothing at that particular moment will come in your head. So that's very very interesting question. Another question I got on the chat here: how do you know you are breathing right? Very good question, Mukesh bhai. Uh, Again, if you put your hand on your tummy, that's the best way to figure out, because when you take a deep breath, right, your tummy expands. So you will feel it, and then when you exhale, your tummy contracts. So that's the best way to do it, because there are three types of breath, and I put that on the blog. The diaphragmic breath, which is what we want to practice, the chest breath, which we don't want to practice, and then breath from your throat, which happens only when you are gasping from air, right? When you're so tired of running or something, then you're just out of air. So that just happens in emergency situation. So what you want to try is try this diaphragmatic breath. And the best way to know that is to put your hand on your tummy so you can see it expand and contract. So hopefully that helps. What I will do is, if there is any other questions, just feel free to email. We'll keep updating the blog, and then I'll also put this recording on the YouTube channel. So if you want to practice on a daily basis, I think it will be helpful. We'll try to discuss one topic every time. Today I didn't want to, since it was just fresh first time, but then we'll come up with one topic which we can talk about 5-10 minutes, and then do about 15 minutes meditation every time. So thank you all for joining, and unless there is another question, we will end this meeting. Thanks
Neerav,
again. Yeah, go ahead.
sometimes I feel sleepy while doing meditation. Is it
So
common?
some people have excelled the art of sleeping vertically, they call it, right? That's Sadhguru's term, not mine. But idea is that you don't want to fall asleep. So that's why it's important to keep your spine erect, right? They say a lot of things about spine, a straight spine. That why that's important. They say it conducive to taking all kinds of universal thoughts and whatnot. But the most important thing is that it keeps you awake. Okay, if you do this or if you do this, you can get dozed. So that's why you have to, or you should try to keep your spine straight.
Straight.
That's one thing which will help you not fall asleep. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you
Thank
same
you,
time
Neerav.
next Tuesday.
Next
you.
Tuesday.
All right.
Bye, Raju.
Bye. Bye.